Hi, I'm Sean Moore and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're serving up some roasted red snapper that will blow your socks off. This recipe is a combination of East and Western flavors, which is perfect for the summer. Before we get there, if you haven't subscribed to Cooking with Taste, then take the time to do so. Okay, let's get started. To make our roasted red snapper recipe, we obviously need red snapper. My fishmonger already gutted and scaled the fish, but I like to go a few steps further. Always clean your fish, and I like to complete that task with some citrus. In this case, I have a lime, which I'll roll around to soften the flesh. The reason why you should always wash your fish can be easily explained. The water and the citrus obviously adds freshness to the product that might have a little odor. In addition to adding freshness, I use my citrus fruit as the exfoliant just in case the fishmonger, well, maybe he missed some scales. Now tell me the truth. How annoying is it to take a big bite of fish and have to spit out all the extra scales? Yuck. This step just makes the eating experience more enjoyable. Make sure to scale your fish from top to bottom, but be careful of the thin, sharp corners of the head. Let's put our snapper aside to chill out, pour out all that water, and remember to disinfect your sink. And please wash your hands before proceeding to the next step. Thank you. For my spice, I have dried Szechuan peppercorns, which I'll toast on a low flame. Toasting your whole spices just elevates the numerous notes of the product, which adds depth to your final dish. Just try not to burn the peppercorns. Let's pour our Szechuan peppercorns to our mortar and pestle and mash. Then transfer the peppercorns to a separate bowl, and now let's move forward with our aromatics. I have some fresh garlic and ginger from my local Korean market. For the ginger, I'll just remove the outer peel, cut off about 1.5 ounces, and cut it down for the mortar and pestle. Give your ginger a good pounding until the fibers soften down. Add 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt for an additional abrasive texture. Mash for another 15 to 20 seconds. Now, we have 5 cloves of garlic, which we'll break down too. Oh, and by the way, these measurements for my spice rub is portioned for 1 fish. Multiply the measurements to fit your needs. Mash your fresh garlic along with the ginger. Add in 1 teaspoon of the toasted Szechuan peppercorns, along with 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin, plus 1 teaspoon of coconut palm sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of gochujang, which is a key ingredient in Korean fried chicken and kimchi. I need 2 teaspoons of good soy sauce, along with 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil, or even extra virgin olive oil. Now, this ingredient is optional, but I love the addition of mirin, which is slightly sweet and tangy. If you can't find mirin, then you can always use rice wine vinegar. Mix the paste and give it a taste. It should be very forward in aroma. Remember, you want that snapper to taste seasoned. Last but not least, slice up some green onions and lemon for decor. I prefer to handle the top and bottom halves individually, and if you have it on hand, I love the addition of fresh lemongrass. It pairs so well with red snapper. Now slice your top ends into bigger portions, and as I mentioned earlier, the lemon slices are mainly for decor and maybe for filler. Okay, time to assemble. Make sure to score that red snapper, which I patted dry. The scoring allows the spice paste to penetrate the meat more effectively, but make sure your knife is very sharp for this step. Flip the snapper over and repeat the same scoring on the other side. After completing that step, now we can actually season our snapper. Rub that paste throughout the cavity and apply a thin amount on top of the fish. Flip the snapper over and drop a thicker amount on top of that side. Make sure the paste gets into the creases and crevices of the slits. Stuff the cavity with some fresh lemon slices, plus your green onions. Place the remaining green onions underneath the snapper and top the fish with even more lemon slices. And then pop your lined tray into a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, remove the snapper from the oven, remove the lemon slices, flip the fish, and place the lemon slices back on top. Put everything back into the oven for an additional 8 to 10 minutes. While the snapper is finishing, let's make a side of rice. I measured 2 cups of white basmati rice, and I'm only going to show you a basic preparation of that rice. This is the most important tip for today. Please rinse the starch out of your rice if you want a fluffy rice. Just look at the water. It's cloudy and full of starch. Gross. Repeat the rinsing steps for at least 3 times or until the water is clear. Okay, cleaned rice. As I mentioned, this recipe is a 101 course of preparing rice, and I can do a more elevated version in the future. I like whole cardamom pods in my rice, which I'll toast in the butter. Dump in your rice and toast that for 2 to 3 minutes. Because I have 2 cups of rice, I'm only adding 3 cups of water. Do not follow the 2-to-1 ratio. It's simply a lie. Give the rice a quick stir, and I like to add a half a teaspoon of salt along with 2 dried bay leaves. Put the lid on and lower the heat to low and cook for 15 to 20 minutes. You see this? That rice looks so fluffy. Now remove the whole spices and put the rice aside. Now back to the snapper. If you can't tell already by the amazing smell in your kitchen, that snapper is ready. And if you want to double check that, you can always check the temperature, which it should register around 137 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, time for plating. Create a bed of that super fluffy basmati rice, which has that nutty flavor from the brown butter. And with 2 spatulas, transfer that red snapper to the top of that rice. If the fish is too big, then you can always remove the tail. And if there's any pan drippings, oh, don't waste that. Obviously pour that all on top. This meal is high in protein, healthy fats, and a good source of carbs. And it will not throw off your diet. Enjoy. And just like that, we made a killer roasted red snapper with the fluffiest basmati rice. The fish offers a soft and tender texture, plus the pan juices are to die for. This recipe inspires me to go out and travel again. I cannot wait for what life has in store, and I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you like this video and wish to indulge in more curated content by yours truly, then do me a favor by giving this video a thumbs up. Join the Cooking with Taste family. Thank you in advance, and I'll see you next time. Ciao. It is so flaky.